Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. We are back to work on our city landscape today with our tiger bark ficus trees. There are just so many possibilities with this project that it's almost overwhelming. You know, I had plans of doing buildings and a cityscape, and something that kept nagging me in the back of my mind was maybe I'm getting too complicated, that the trees should be the focus and everything else supports them. So I'm thinking maybe revising my ideas and simplifying the whole planting. A fellow YouTuber, Kenneth DeBont from Belgium, made a short little video of a possibility of a cityscape with trees. It's really cool, a really cool animation. So let's have a look at that now. I got an email from Miriam. He sent me some pictures from Brazil of some trees taking over kind of some buildings and that. So let's have a look at those now. I'm still thinking about the project and exactly what I want, and I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to start working on the trees today, getting them pruned up to a tree-like form. One thing I've learned about ficus over the years is that they want to grow. They want to grow into a large tree, and they'll grow very quickly. So today I'm going to be pruning these trees back, and I may end up with very small trees, but you know, I'll build on that in the future. I don't want long straight branches. I want them to have movement and taper. So these trees, which aren't all that big, might get a lot smaller by the end of today. I'll go through the trees one at a time and I'll prune them down, getting rid of, you know, long straight branches, making them more compact and trying to get a tree-like form in the end. All right, here I go with the pruning. Here's tree number 1 of 10. So it's got some lower branches. One is died off at the back here. Divides up here. Quite straight going up here, which is all right. I think, you know, unless you wanted a clump style tree, the lowest branches are too low, so I'll start by removing those. Like that. And the one over here. That gives me a height to the first branch, which is here. So depending how big these trees will be eventually, I mean, they could grow into monster ficus trees over time. But I think that height is quite good for now. The overall height of the tree is quite tall, so I'm going to prune that back. I've got a lot of branches in this area, so I think I'm going to go right here, quite short, like that. And then I'll want to prune these branches back also. So to an outward facing leaf, I'm just going to take the tip off that one. Take this one off to here. And this one off to here. So you can see that kind of gives a nice compact, kind of a broom style tree. So there's one tree done, 1 of 10. Here's a look at tree number 2. At the moment it's on a slant, but that could be straightened up in future. The lowest branch is here, so that's not too bad. I think I will take off that weak one though. It's a little too low. That gives me 2 strong branches in this area, actually 3. So I think that's a good height for my lowest branch. I'll prune the top of the tree down, so I think to here, like that. I'll prune the branches shorter to there, and here, like that. This one off to here. And I've got one out the back here, which I don't think I want that. That's 2 parallel branches here, so I'll take out this one. That staggers my branches a little more space between them. Yeah, I think that's quite good for tree number 2. Here's tree number 3 now. I've got, again, a slanting trunk. I've got some lowest branches, which are quite low. This one is strong enough that I could develop sort of a twin trunk here. Maybe even a triple. I think I'll keep it because it's good and strong and looks healthy. I will remove this branch from here. Trim an old pruning stub back. I'll reduce the height down here to here. I'll cut these branches back also to here. I'll prune these back to here. This one back to here. And then I'll prune the height down. So I think I've got a strong branch there. I'll go right to here, pruning the top off. There's tree number 3 styled up. So each tree will look a little different. You can see, you know, I don't want them all standard looking street trees. I want a bit of style to each one, so they'll all be a little bit different. But they'll all be about the same compact height. Here's tree number 4 now. Quite a small tree. It has a strong branch coming off here, which is fairly well developed. It'd be a shame to cut it off, but I'll keep it for now. If I get too many trees with multiple trunks, maybe I'll prune some of them back. But I want a variety, so I'll prune the apex off to here. To here. This one back to here. And this one off to here. And there's a branch out the back here. We'll go to here. Just removing some leaves that are pointing in towards the tree, just to clean it up a bit. So that's got that tree pruned up nicely. Here's tree number 5 now. Again, a multiple trunk tree, which is fine. I don't want them all the same. A little tall, but you know, I do want some variation in height also, so I'll just prune the tip off here. the tip off this branch, prune this one back. There's a branch going towards the inside here I don't like, I'll take that off. Prune this back branch down. Just take the tip off it there. And then the long one on the side, take it back to here. And here, like that. So there's that tree all pruned up. Here's tree 6 of 10. It's got a lowest branch here. I'll remove that one. It's very insignificant anyway. There's kind of a major forking here. I'll keep this lowest branch. And I'll keep this one. And I'll prune the height down to there. So there's a small little tree. Here's tree number 7 now. So it's got a piece of wire holding it vertical, I guess, to help root it because it was probably top heavy. It's got some strong divisions here, which I like. I think it's quite nice. Just needs to be brought down in height a bit more. It's got some branching happening way up here. Quite a long straight section of branch there, so I'm going to reduce that back to here. Like that. Over here, I'll go back to an outward facing leaf there. And I'll prune the height down. Got all kinds of buds coming out on the trunk there. I think we'll take it right back to here. Like that. Good, strong, vertical upright tree. Here's tree number 8. So a lot of branches coming from the base of the tree, which is kind of nice. It's more like a clump style. So we'll keep that theme. I'll prune it back shorter. I'll go here. And here. This branch can be pruned back to here. And here. And this branch to here. And then I'll prune the leader down, the apex. I think I'll go to here. Like that. That's got a nice kind of multi-trunk, sort of a clump style planting. Here's a look at tree number 9. There's a weak lower branch here I'll take off. Looks like it's a bit more of an upright tree. Getting some dividing here. That's not a bad height for my lowest branches. I will prune them back though. And then I'll prune the height of the tree down. It does have a lot of branching up here. I'll keep it. I'll keep it for now. You can always prune them shorter later on. So there, it's got tree number 9 pruned up. Here's a look at the last tree, tree number 10. It comes up and then it has kind of an awkward Y shape here. Quite a large spacing. I'm not really keen on that. It looks a bit strange. I think I'll prune that lowest branch off. And we'll go with a taller type tree. Like that. So that brings us up to the top here. There's a lot of branches coming from one spot here. So I don't want, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 if you include the leader, branches coming from one spot. If I left that like that, this would thicken up here and look quite ugly in future. So I got to decide, well, this is a nice trunk line flowing up here. So this could be my apex. I've got just too many branches here. I could divide it into 2 up here. I think that would be wisest. I'll do that. I'm going to take everything off except for 1 branch. These other branches were going opposite each other, so it would look funny. So now I've got kind of a Y-shaped apex, and I'll prune it off here and here. That gets a nice looking tree. Plenty of tiger bark cuttings on the cutting room floor. Here's a look at the trees in the pot now, and you can see the pot doesn't look so full of trees anymore. There's space around each tree. It looks a lot less crowded. So these trees will probably be pruned back further in future after they're planted. They'll start growing again, and then, you know, I'll be doing further pruning to get them to fit together with the landscape. So I'm going to arrange the trees today. If this were just like a park scene or something, I'm going to try and arrange the trees, just spacing them out so you can see each tree from the front. See how it looks, and it might give me some ideas. I have this idea of maybe a really kind of modern architecture with trees growing around it. It's a possibility. Here's one possibility, kind of creating an open space in the middle of the planting, kind of surrounded by trees. Here's a very symmetrical grid type pattern. I want some kind of flowing line going into it or something. You know, even if it's a park setting, it's got to have pathways that invite you in. It can't be just a grid of trees or trees in a row or anything. It has to have a feeling to invite you in. So I'm going to try and lay out something like that. Here's a look at sort of an asymmetrical design, having the path kind of curve in from the front. I'm kind of liking this. I think it's the best arrangement so far. I'm going to try exaggerating that curve a little bit more, trying to get that path to kind of curve around behind the trees. Here's a look at that pathway revised. So I've set the trees back on the left-hand side, back from the edge of the pot more. This group of trees is closer. I think that's looking quite nice. It maybe even bring them around a bit more. That looks better. I'll show you from another view. Here's another view looking more from above. So you can see that pathway going between the trees, disappearing behind them. Yeah, that's looking better. I think, you know, the arrangement of the trees is important, and then maybe I build the city around the tree arrangement. So this is for a kind of a park-like setting. This is just one of the many, many possibilities for a possible layout. At least getting the trees arranged in a pleasing manner is a good start. Whatever you add around it, well, the trees will always look good in that arrangement. So, yeah, I may try some more different arrangements too. Here's a variation on that theme. So instead of the path coming from the left-hand corner, it kind of comes in the middle and curves around. The trees kind of frame the pathway. Another possibility. Could look quite nice. Some of the trees, you know, I don't have to have them all as single trees. I could put a few together in one kind of clump, simplify it down so they don't look like 10 trees equally spaced. Something interesting like that. Even if I go with the cityscape, that could be a driveway and a house behind, or a road or a sidewalk with, you know, some kind of building, or just no building at all. Just sort of a sidewalk going through nature. I do want to use all those bricks in that building set, so I will need some kind of wall or structure or something, or pathways. I was thinking if I lay the bricks down in the pathway, then as the roots grow, it'll make the bricks kind of bulge up, or as the roots grow thicker underneath the kind of sidewalk or roadway, cobble roadway, it'll sort of destroy the flat surface, the roots, and it could look quite nice in the future. So, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities. So many. But I think I'm liking this kind of an arrangement for the trees. Sometimes the idea for a landscape can develop from a single thing, like you might find a model car or something in a toy store. You think, yeah, that would fit in with my diorama if I found a little scooter or a motorcycle or something, or a house or something like that. Sometimes it just takes one element to give you ideas, and you know, you build on that kind of a theme. So I've been doing lots of thinking about this, and I'm going to continue doing thinking until part 4. So that's all for today. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.